My wife went on a girls' holiday to Prague but spent no money, so I'm suspecting some foul foreplay went down. It all started when my wife, Kawimhe, decided to go on a girls' holiday to Prague with her best mates, Aoife and Siobhan. Now, I've never had an issue with her going on these trips before. Trust is a big deal for me, and we've always been solid. Or so I thought. Kawime and I have been together for 7 years, married for 3. She's always been the life of the party, the one who can light up a room with her laugh. But when she got back from this particular trip, something was off. She arrived home looking disheveled and oddly tired, which was unlike her. Usually she'd be brimming with stories about the wild adventures she had, the drinks they tried, the sights they saw. But this time, she was strangely quiet. "How was the trip, love?" I asked, trying to gauge her mood. "Good. Just the usual," she replied, avoiding eye contact. That was the first red flag. The second one came a few days later when I checked our joint account. I wasn't snooping, just doing my usual budget review. To my surprise, there were no transactions from Prague. Not a single one. I asked Kami about it casually. "Hey, I noticed there were no charges from Prague. Did you use cash?" She looked startled, then quickly recovered. "Oh yeah, Aoife and Siobhan insisted on treating me. It was their way of saying thanks for helping Aoife with her wedding plans. It sounded plausible, but it didn't sit right with me. We aren't exactly rolling in dough, and I knew Aoife and Siobhan weren't either. The whole thing felt off." A few weeks went by, and I tried to shake off the uneasy feeling, but then I overheard something that set my mind spinning. I was at the pub with my mate, Fionn, when he mentioned in passing, I heard Aoife talking about some guy they met in Prague. Sounded like a wild time. My heart sank. "What do you mean?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Fionn shrugged, just that they met this rich bloke who took them around. Paid for everything. Thought you knew. I didn't know, and the realization hit me like a ton of bricks. I couldn't confront Kawima without more information, so I decided to do some digging. I reached out to Aoife under the guise of catching up. "Hey, Aoife, how was Prague? Kawima didn't tell me much about it." She seemed surprised, but quickly covered it up. "Oh, it was amazing. We met this incredibly generous guy who showed us around. Made the trip so much more fun." My stomach churned. "Sounds like you had a great time. Who was this guy?" Aoife hesitated. "Just some guy we met at a bar. Nothing serious." But it was serious enough that they hadn't spent a single euro of their own money. Something was definitely wrong. That night, I couldn't hold it in any longer. "Kawimhe, we need to talk," I said, my voice barely more than a whisper. She looked up from her book, her eyes wide with worry. "What's wrong?" I took a deep breath. "I know about the guy in Prague, the one who paid for everything." Her face went pale. "Who told you?" "It doesn't matter. What matters is that you lied to me. You said Aoife and Siobhan paid for everything." Koime's eyes filled with tears. "I didn't know how to tell you. It was just one night. He bought us drinks and took us to some fancy places. Nothing happened, I swear." I wanted to believe her, but the doubt gnawed at me. "Why didn't you tell me the truth?" "I was scared you'd get the wrong idea," she said, her voice trembling. "And what idea is that? That you met some rich guy who swept you off your feet? Did you even think about how this would make me feel?" Tears streamed down her face, and she buried her head in her hands. "I'm sorry. I should have told you." Despite her tears and apologies, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the story. I decided to confront Siobhan, hoping she'd let something slip. "Hey, Siobhan, can we talk about Prague?" I asked when I caught her alone. She seemed uneasy. "Sure, what about it?" "Kawime told me about the guy you met, the one who paid for everything. What really happened?" Siobhan shifted nervously. "Look, it was just a fun night out. He was rich, charming, and wanted to show us a good time. Nothing else." "Did Kawame spend any alone time with him?" I pressed. Siobhan's eyes widened. "No, we were all together the whole time. He was just a generous guy, that's it." I wanted to believe her, but the nagging doubt wouldn't leave me alone. The pieces didn't add up, and I felt like I was being kept in the dark. It wasn't until a month later that the truth finally came out. I was at another pub night with Fionn when he dropped a bombshell. "Hey, did you hear about that guy Aoife was talking about? Turns out he's some big-shot businessman. Apparently he's known for entertaining tourists." My heart pounded. "What do you mean?" Fionn looked uncomfortable. "Rumor is he likes to spend time with pretty tourists, if you catch my drift." The world spun around me. I confronted Kauime that night, demanding the full truth. She broke down, confessing everything. The businessman had indeed taken a particular interest in her, offering to show her a good time in exchange for her company. She insisted nothing physical had happened, but the betrayal cut deep. "Why didn't you tell me?" I asked, my voice shaking. "I was ashamed," she whispered. "I didn't want to lose you." Trust shattered. Our marriage was left hanging by a thread. We're now in counseling, trying to piece together the broken parts. Some days are better than others, but the doubt lingers. So there it is, folks. My wife went on a girls' holiday to Prague, but spent no money, leading me to uncover a web of lies and deceit. Life's a mess, but we're working through it, one painful step at a time.